right. All right. Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Alex. I live in Vancouver. I'm here today at Montreal Meetup. Um, yeah, so I'm an Elixir dev, and I'm here to talk about DiscoLog, which is a library, an Elixir library that allows you to send your logs to Discord. And if that doesn't sound like a good idea, we'll get there. Bear with me. As a side note, I gave this presentation at our local Vancouver meetup. So if you've been there, act natural. But other than that, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about logging. Logging. I'm sure you all know what it is. That's the default console logger that we all know and love. We use it in dev while we develop our applications, and it is great. It is great until we want to deploy somewhere. All right. And once we deploy, we usually want to export our logs somewhere. Usually it's some kind of cloud product, can be Google Cloud Platform, can be AWS. If you have lots of money, it can be Datadog, some kind of cloud solution, right? And there is also a class of products called error tracking, I think. Things like Sentry, Honeybadger, AppSignal. I'm sure we all kind of know what they do. So those are all great tools, but I'd say they only make sense in a professional context. So when you're at work, you can afford those tools. And yeah, main reasons why they kind of make sense in a professional context is because, first of all, they are fairly complex. I mean, they might not be super complex to set up, but this is a special product that you pay for and that you use. And yeah, second reason is that they're paid, right? Even though they often have free tier, the whole idea behind free tier is to eventually push you to use paid tier. So not quite ideal if your app is only used by yourself and maybe your friends, right? So it feels to me that there is some kind of a gap between what we have here and what we have as a grown-up logging solution, something that would be useful for our hobby-grade projects. For me personally, I host all my small pet projects on a single VPS server. So whenever I want to check logs, I just SSH to my server, where I have like different folders with Elixir releases, and if I want to check logs, I just tail them in my SSH console, which is not ideal because first of all, I need my laptop with my SSH setup. And secondly, in order to want to check logs, I need some kind of reason to do that, right? If I notice that my app is not working, that's good. I can go check logs. But if I'm not using my app and it's working in the background, there is not really a good reason for me to do that. So this is where DiscoLog comes in. That's it, GitHub repo. What DiscoLog does is that it allows you to turn Discord into your own private logging service. I'm not the author. I am just a contributor, but I really love the library. I contributed a bunch of features to it. So yeah, I feel like I'm a huge promoter of DiscoLog at this point. So yeah, what DiscoLog does. Before we go into that, let me remind you what Discord is and why it might make a good logging service. So Discord, I'm sure you all know, is a free chat application. Users in Discord can create servers, also known as guilds. On those servers, people can create channels of different types, most notably like normal text channels. They can also invite users to their servers. Some of those users can be bots, and those bots can be programmatically managed. So if you connect your application to one of those bots, it can be your own private bot, that bot can relay your application's logs to text channels in your server. And on the surface, it will look suspiciously similar to a logging solution. You will have a bunch of channels with logs, with text log, like an endless stream of text logs. And you will also have a search, because a chat app has a search. You will have a mobile app, which a lot of us probably already have on our phones. And the Discord, being a chat application, also has a set of extensive notification settings. So you can mute channels, you can disable notifications for some time. You can do lots of different stuff. Not to say that you have full access to Discord's powerful API if you want to build something on top. So these are all the reasons why Discord makes an actually decent logging service. It may be lacking structured logging possibilities or whatnot, but it's working, it's convenient. So yeah, let's talk what DiscoLog does exactly. Unfortunately, before you can use it, you'll have to do some setup. And the legwork for the setup includes creating your own bot. It's very simple. You just sign up at Discord developer portal. You create your application, add a bot to your application. And once you have your secret bot API token, you can just put it into your application configuration, add a bunch of IDs like server ID, channel ID, stuff like that, and then you're good to go. This is all documented in DiscoLog docs. There are even mixed tasks, I think, to help you set up. But once this is done, you can get logs. So what DiscoLog does? By default, DiscoLog works with 3 channels, 2 of them being normal text channels and 1 different channel. We'll talk about it later. So for text channels, there are 2 channels, info and error. Info channel gets info level logs. Error channel gets error level logs. This is how it looks like, more or less. Normal log message goes to the chat message body, plain and simple. If you export any metadata, it will be attached to the message as a file. And on desktop, this file will be shown to you in the client. It will even have syntax highlighting, pretty good experience. On mobile, it's not as great. File attachment on mobile will be displayed as an opaque blobs, so you need to download them to view them, but still pretty good. So that's kind of where our normal logs will go. And then there is the 3rd channel called occurrences channel in DiscoLog lingo. This is a special type of channel. So Discord have these channels called forums, and messages in forums are organized in threads. And threads can have comments, first of all, and then they can be deleted, resolved, stuff like that. So forum channel is used by DiscoLog for error tracking. So whenever an unhandled exception or unhandled error, it can be exception, throw, exit, occurs in your application, DiscoLog will take it, calculate a fingerprint, hopefully unique, and then using this fingerprint, it will either post it as a new thread if this error has not been seen before, or if this is a new occurrence of an existing error, it will post a new occurrence in a comment section of an existing thread. So this works fairly well, and it works basically as a homegrown error tracking solution. So it's like we have a sentry at home. It's pretty decent. The nice thing about this is that Discord automatically shows you which threads you already have seen and which you haven't. So you can see which errors are new and which are not. So that's pretty good, pretty decent experience, not as advanced as Sentry, but very usable for hobby-grade applications. What else? Those were core features of DiscoLog. I mean, getting logs is a core feature, but this is not the whole list. Another feature I really like is presence. This is the one I wrote, so I love it. So if you want, DiscoLog can open and maintain a WebSocket connection to the Discord gateway API, what it will do is that it will show your bot as online and display like a silly custom status message. For me personally, that's already cool enough to use. But as a more kind of pragmatic application, this can work as a very simple monitoring solution. So whenever I want to check if my apps are online, and assuming those apps are only running a single node, if the bots are online in my Discord server, it means that at the very least my application's supervision trees are up and running. So the app is probably like healthy enough to maintain a WebSocket connection, which is pretty cool. So I always have a monitoring tool for my hobby applications in my phone. Pretty neat. All right. Another feature that is not really a feature, but I like to think about it as a feature, is that DiscoLogs takes a kind of a mix and match approach at its design. So a lot of its features you can use without enabling DiscoLog like default configuration. So if, for example, you're not happy with having just 3 log channels, or if you want to show your logs into multiple servers, or if you want to have multiple bots in a single application, you can just disable DiscoLog's default supervision tree and start it yourself, and start multiple supervision trees yourself. You can attach DiscoLog's logger handler yourself. You can attach multiple login filters to those handlers. And it all makes DiscoLog very configurable. It's just that this configurability does not come from the DiscoLog's own configuration, but instead it comes from DiscoLog being a good citizen to Elixir logging stack. So anything you can do with Elixir kind of handlers and filters and whatnot can be done with DiscoLog. So a lot of stuff is just possible without any additional kind of learning curve for DiscoLog's specific setup. And as another example, right at the bottom here, presence, the feature that I talked on the previous slide, it's just a gen server. So if you just want to use presence without having all your logs being thrown into Discord, you can just spin this one single gen server and have this cute little bot being online with you in Discord without logs. Yeah. So, and yeah, last feature I want to talk. This is what I called ad hoc usage. So obviously, DiscoLog comes with a very lightweight Discord API client. It's built on top of Rec, and you can absolutely use it for just sending arbitrary messages into arbitrary channels. So for me personally, I have a pet project that scrapes data from a third party every day. So I have a daily Oban job that I set up in a way that every time it completes successfully, it just posts a message to a like separate channel on my Discord server. And it just feels nice. I just love running, seeing these messages pop up. I just love to know that stuff is working, that numbers go up. It's a nice little piece of feedback from my app. Another example is what I call AI Community Manager. So the same application, every time it scrapes another day worth of data, it runs another daily job. It shows all the new data into AI. It asks it to check it out. And if there is anything interesting, maybe we can draft a tweet about like highlighting a certain piece of data. And then this draft tweet goes into a special channel in my server called Tweet Suggestions. I read it and never tweet, but it's still nice. I mean, I don't tweet it because maybe my prompts are bad, but so far AI was pretty bad at writing tweets. But I just love that. I just like seeing it attempts to make a tweet. It's very interesting. So yeah, that's ad hoc usage. I think this is all feature set of DiscoLog for now. My personal usage of DiscoLog is that why I like it in the first place is that it allows me to set up my own private Discord server that acts as a hub, operations hub for all my applications. I see all their logs there. I see their status as online or not. I can make them send me arbitrary messages, and it just feels really cool to me. And what I think DiscoLog might do in the future is that right now this communication is one directional, so my apps sends data to me. But I'm thinking about like, what if I could send data to my apps? For example, what if I have a special channel called commands or something like that, where I could just type, "Hey, please restart," or "Please run this Oban job," and it would just be picked up by my app and like run. So it would be pretty cool. It would be like a real Discord operations hub. So yeah, it's not nearly even implemented, but yeah, that's what I think would be really cool to have. But for now, DiscoLog just allows you to turn your Discord server into Logs hub, which is pretty cool already. Yeah, last slide. This is DiscoLog repo again. Maybe check it out. Maybe give it a star. Maybe reach out to the author. He's a really cool guy. And yeah, if you have questions for me, go ahead.